Hi everyone. So today we're going to make a bootable USB drive with Ubuntu, the newer versions, the 16.4, .04, and we're going to do it in the terminal using the dd command. Now, the first disclaimer here is that the dd command is very, very dangerous. Like, you can pretty much mess up your whole system if you don't use this properly. So the first thing we want to do is find out which drive we have here. So if I do disk util, it's got a lot of different types of commands that we can run, but right now we just want to list the disks that are currently mounted on the system. So we'll go ahead and hit disk util list. It's going to list them. So right now we can see I have a couple of different things here. Disk 0, it's an internal disk, and that's fine. That's our actual like hard drive. And then we have another one, disk 1, which is the virtual one, but it's the hard drive as well. We do not want to delete these by any stretch of the imagination. That would be bad. So what I like to do is look at this before we've actually inserted our USB key. So I'll go ahead and take it out and then insert it. And then over here you can see that it's been added. And then if we do the command again, I just hit up, hit disk util, we can see we have the first two we had before, and then we have this third one. Now, just to be extra cautious, because we really don't want to mess this up, let's verify the size, make sure it's the right one. See, it's disk 3, and I know it's a 16 gigabyte drive, which is fine. I bought this one off of Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description here. For these, I think they were like $10 for 3 of these drives. And I know like people like to get the larger ones, but I actually prefer some of the smaller ones a lot of the time, just because we kind of use them and abuse them, like blank CDs back in the day. So if I hand this off to somebody, I'm not terribly upset that I lost it or anything like that. It's actually kind of nice. So anyway, if you already had it plugged in, go ahead and unplug it and plug it back in again, the USB drive, just to make sure it's the right one. So I'm in the directory with the downloads, and you can see I have a couple here. I've got the new server 16.04 server and 16.04 desktop. For this one, we're just going to be doing the desktop, which would be okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to force copy the image onto the USB drive. So right now it's mounted, Apple sees that it's mounted here. So what we want to do is actually unmount it, but we need to do it in such a way that we can still access it. So what we'll do is we'll do disk util, and we'll do unmount disk, and we'll give the device name. So this is going to be disk 3, right? Go ahead and unmount it. And it'll take a couple seconds. And it should tell us when it's unmounted. There we go. Okay, so it was unsuccessfully mounted, and we saw that disappeared here, which is cool, but it's still on there. So let's go ahead and do the disk util list again. And what we see here is that we still have disk 0, disk 1, and disk 3, but since it's not mounted, we can overwrite everything to it. So this is an extra step. So now what we need to do is we need to overwrite the disk. Now we have it properly unmounted, but actually still touch the computer. So here comes the dangerous part, where we want to do the dd command and to overwrite it. Now we could write it here in the terminal, but to be extra cautious, why don't we do this in a notepad and copy paste in so we can verify it first. So I'm just going to go sudo dd if, which is the file that we're going to be, it's the input file, if, even though it says if, the one that we're going to be putting into it. And so we're in the working directory. We can give it a full path, but we don't need to. So I'll go ahead and copy this guy out and put him right here. Now, I guess we could be extra cautious and grab that too and throw it into here. It wouldn't matter in this case since we're going to run it right there, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, and now we need to point it to the output file. So just OF equals, and then we'll go ahead and do dev disk 3. Now we could do that one, but we actually want to do R, right? And what this is, it's the same actual disk, but the R designates raw, and it's much faster. So we'll get a lot more speed in here. Lastly, we need to specify the block size, and for this, we're just going to do bs and equals 1m, and that'll be our full command here. So let's double check it now. Sudo dd if, then the file name of, got the right one, dev r disk 3. Oh, thanks Microsoft. Yeah, good timing. Such a Microsoft thing to do right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and install it. Auto update 3, so it's going to update itself. Yeah, go ahead, do your thing. Thanks for being in the way of everything we're doing here. It's kind of, yeah, look at that. Wasn't that nice of them to interrupt our little screencast here? Yes, we want. I don't understand why it asks me this every time it updates. It says when you want to check weekly. Yeah, that's fine. Why do we? Oh my God! All right, you know what? We're not going to do this right now. Before it was okay. Now you're just getting a little excessive. Anyway, so we have our command here, and now we're going to want to run it. We double checked it again, even after Microsoft interrupted us. And then we can run it now. So go ahead and do this and hit BS1. We have to type in our password, and now it's going to go. So this process might take a little bit depending on how long or how big the file is that we're writing here. So it's around, I believe this is like it's around a couple hundred gigs, or not a couple hundred, it's around 4 gigs I think. If we go ahead and take a look at everything that's in there. So yeah, 600 megs, 1.49 gigs for the desktop version. So this could take just a few minutes here. You know, what you would normally take. Plus it's got to build it. So whatever you do, don't panic if it seems to stall for a little while. You really want to give it an ample time to go, especially if you're using an older drive. So this is the drive here is USB 3.0. The MacBook has USB 3.0. Hopefully you'll take advantage of that. But if not, assume it's USB 2.0. And that could take a while with larger files. So let's see here. Come on. Suppose we could have Microsoft do its installation while we're waiting for this. Let's see, it's going to update Outlook, PowerPoint. Look at this stuff. Look at all the... I wonder if those are Delta updates. Yeah, go ahead, do your thing, man. All right. So this is a good thing here. So it transferred all the bytes, and it looks like it did it successfully. Now the computer doesn't really know what it's doing because this is now a bootable CD or a bootable USB drive. So the computer really can't recognize it that well. So we'll have to either initialize it, ignore it, or eject it. We're just going to ignore it for right now. And then when we plug it into a different system, it should boot up automatically. In fact, we can go ahead and eject it. Oh, nothing to eject. All right, so it should be done. We can go ahead and plug it into a different laptop and get it to boot. We might have to play the BIOS settings to do that, but we'll do that next.